Beautiful, beautiful Hebron, Kentucky here behind me. In the 90s, Hebron had an explosion of housing, right? And recently, Amazon has come in. You've got the airport over here. And all of this combines to create these urban areas. If you go down 20, if you go down Route 20, or if you continue down Route 237, you run into tons and tons of subdivisions. Some upper middle class subdivisions, some middle class subdivisions. But what's very, very common here for my company in particular, what's very, very common, they all have deck systems, wood deck systems, that are reaching the age of maturity. So 15 to 25 years old. And many of these families have taken the bait from large home stores like Home Depot and Lowe's that have pushed DIY coatings like Behr Deck Over and Restore 10X onto them. And now these coating systems are starting to fail in bulk everywhere. And so I'm often called to Hebron, just like I'm called to lots of other cities in the tri-state, Hebron, Florence, Walton. And one of the projects this week here in Hebron, and why we're here today for the Hebron KY dog claw project, a deck that's suffering from very, very bad sun damage, lots of cracks, and it has ugly deck syndrome, corroded fasteners. It also suffers from a lot of dog claw marks into the wood. As we know, here in Kentucky, we love our dogs, right? So we have to put up with that to a certain extent. Take a look at this project. Check it out. If you live here in Hebron and you have a deck that has ugly deck syndrome, or what I call deck leprosy, which is peeling deck paint, peeling Behr Deck Over, peeling Restore 10X, peeling Deck Correct, and you're confused about how you can remedy the situation without spending your life savings, check out this video. Look at what our company does. Look at the transformation. And then visit kongarmor.com to set up a free quote. Alright guys, so this is the Hebron KY dog claw deck. That's the hashtag we're using on this, right? So the challenges that exist here: we need to replace a handrail. We need to replace around 8 spindles, 8 to 10 spindles. And then there's massive dog claw marks all over this deck system, all over the floor, all over the stairs. What we're going to do is we're going to utilize something here at Kongarmor that we call super build. Super build is when we intentionally, most customers will get 3 coats on their floor. Super build is when we intentionally build a deck higher than we normally would. So instead of doing 3, we'll do 4 to 5 coats, maybe even more on the floor here, to build this up nice and thick, to combat those dog claws, and make this ultra tough. When we're done here, customer will have lifetime limited warranty, and she'll have lifetime service for those dog claw marks. In the future, if the dog does break down our system, they can have this easily repaired, and they'll have super affordable repair rates to get this fixed, right? Something that no other company in the deck painting industry offers to their customers. First off, nobody offers a lifetime limited warranty. Secondly, nobody offers lifetime service. What's cool about Kong is that it can be repaired very, very easily. Sometimes our customers have a little bit of issue where somebody causes damage to their system, and it doesn't happen that often. Kong is insanely strong. But if they do manage to damage it, you can damage anything, wood, composite, doesn't make a difference. It can be damaged. If they do manage to damage it, they can call us and we'll come out and repair it, get their deck system back up to where you never even knew it happened. Our average service call right now is running $187. So super affordable long-term solution for this deck instead of thin residential deck paint and deck stains. We're going to move this customer away from that, move them into the lifetime deck armor system with Kong armor. Okay, see y'all soon. Video I was showing you guys the challenges that existed here with the dog claw marks. We're going to go up and take a closer look here. This is after one coat of Kong armor in areas on this deck. Transformation to a color called Canyon. But what's really, really neat here is that Kong armor will come in, grab a hold of this system. We washed it really, really well. It'll grab a hold of this system and it won't let go. Adhesion value, second to no coating on the planet. And then what's really, really special, and let's go up and take a look. And what's really, really special and what the guys are doing now, especially like say this board here had tons of open hairline cracks in it. They're going around now and starting to fill this all in where these cracks are not exposed. This gets more coating on it. As you can see here, this is the type of cracks that I'm talking about. So we have cracks here. The system will end up filling this all in. If they're too big and the system can't fill them in, we'll use silverback epoxy to fill this in, and then we'll coat over it. The silverback, when we use it to fill these in, it cures up harder than concrete. You can find silverback epoxy, incidentally enough, on Facebook if you just type in @silverback epoxy. Great repair system and great epoxy system to fill in cracks and joints. The coating process for these floors, for the steps, you can see that the dog claw marks have been resurfaced, but what the coating system has exposed is that this wood is severely sun damaged and has a lot of expansion cracks. We call these hairlines, right? So what the guys will do from here is continue filling out these hairlines and resurface this really, really well. We'll get a high build, very high build, thick coating on here. Hairlines on the step edges, we'll fill those in. An unbelievable transformation here has taken place. And I'm so happy for this customer because the guys are finished up. The resurfacing of the dog claw marks that were on this deck, that were engraved into the wood, Kong armor, the world's toughest deck armor, an ultra thick elastic coating, has completely resurfaced this deck. The hairline cracks from the sun damage and the ugly deck syndrome. We talk about ugly deck syndrome a lot, which is just hairline cracks, rusty screws and nails, just worn down weathered wood, right? Gray wood, all encapsulated and just completely locked down. The peeling deck paint that was on this deck, all encapsulated by Kong armor, locked down and resurfaced beautifully. The sun's out super bright today, as you guys can see behind me, so there's a shadowing effect on this deck, but it still doesn't take away from its beauty. Look here. And as we look, you can see this deck, this little tiny deck system has turned out exceptional. We talked about how Kong Armor, when we showed you guys these cracks that were in this post, look at the resurfacing. All the cracks, which is called checking. When you have cracks in posts like this, it's called checking. It's from expansion and contraction of the wood, and the wood just opening up. It's a natural cycle. But Kong Armor has completely resurfaced and encapsulated all that. We showed you these on the stairs yesterday when I showed you guys. You could see here the existence of these cracks that were in here. We've encapsulated these, filled these in. This super thick armor has done its job at really just locking down this deck. You got this super thick build coating on here now. What's cool about this is all of this now will, having problems with focus, all of this now will withstand hurricane force, wind driven rain, sleet, and ice. You can kind of see there the thick build that we've put on here. The floor itself is exceptional. This was all busted open, had tons of hairlines in it, and now it's filled in. Absolutely stunningly beautiful. There was peeling deck paint here. It's all filled in beautiful. If you look at the build, and I'll have to focus it probably. If you look at the build over here, you can see that we've gotten a lot of the entry points for the screws and the nails covered over, so water can't get down in there and hang out and cause issues, right? But Kong Armor itself, just a beautiful thick build. If the sun wasn't so bright today and there wasn't so many shadows on this deck, it would look amazingly beautiful. But because the sun is out today, it is casting some shadows on the deck and taking away from its final appearance a little bit. But thick build on the rail systems. So when you look at this, you're talking, this will be able to withstand hurricane force wind, rain, sleet, ice. And then what's cool about this also is this coating will be able to withstand the expansion and contraction of the wood. It will actually move with it. Now, even though we've covered in these hairlines, in the future, sure, some of them will start to come back a little bit. That's natural. The problem occurs, enough of this, the problem occurs when a coating system doesn't allow them to come back. And what I mean by that is, instead of the coating expanding and letting the wood open up, it cracks and busts open when that wood opens up, and then it starts to peel. Okay, so it's totally natural for some of these to come back, and then, you know, down the road, if you want to fill them in again with Kong Armor, you have that option. You have that lifetime service. You can have a recoat done at any time. It's extremely affordable to have our systems repaired, touched up. But they also carry lifetime limited warranty. Any type of poor trade that peels, cracks, this type of stuff will always fix it for free, right? But this deck system, man, I'm super happy for the customer here and how this turned out. I mean, you could just look behind me and just see how stunningly beautiful this deck turned out. I'm happy that we were able to resolve the dog claw marks. I'm happy that we were able to lock down that peeling deck paint for them. That's locked down for life now. I can assure them of that. Kong is super tough. So listen, it doesn't matter if you're in Hebron, it doesn't matter if you're in Walton, it doesn't matter if you're in Cincinnati, it doesn't matter if you're in Batavia, it doesn't matter if you're over in Aurora or Florence, Indiana. Anywhere in the tri-state that you guys need help with a deck system, ugly deck syndrome, deck leprosy, peeling bare deck over, rotten wood. If you need help with a deck and you want to protect it with lifetime deck armor, and you want to ditch and get away from annual deck painting and annual staining, call Kong Armor 859-815-0652. It's also super easy. Jump on our website, kongarmor.com, set up a free quote. I hope to see you guys soon.